was that? What was that? What a disgrace. Congratulations to Alabama, but damn, it would have been nice to see a game. I'm sorry, I'm saying Alabama because that's what's on my mind. I meant to say Georgia. Congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs, okay? But it would have been nice to see a damn game. It really, really would have. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got NFL stuff to get into. We got NBA stuff to get into. My man Keyshawn Johnson is out there in L.A. I hear it's been a little cold and raining. Sorry to break it to you, brother. TCU done rained on the city of L.A. This is the kind of nonsense that I did not anticipate. I mean, damn. How about ESPN getting their money back for that atrocity? First takes in the house. Let's go.
The unlikely journeys, defying odds, and they all collide on this stage with a trophy and a title at stake. Bennett gets a block. Georgia draws first blood. Bennett and the Bulldogs offense on fire. Launches downfield. It's picked off. Georgia overpowering TCU.
I mean, if you can't pull out your best in a game like this, then maybe this isn't for you.
What was the one word Kirby Smart used? Aggression? The Georgia Bulldogs bludgeon their way to back-to-back.
Good morning. Welcome into First Take. Thank you for hanging with us. Look at the crew I got for you. Keyshawn Johnson, Paul Feinbaum, Stephen A. Smith congratulating Alabama. It's going to be a day.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
Molly Carroll.
It was a fraudulent slip. What can I say?
Hi, guys. Good morning.
What's up, y'all? What's up?
All right, let's get right into it because there's some things we need to discuss, fellas, all right? The Georgia Bulldogs are back-to-back national champions. Georgia cruises to their second straight CFP championship. Quarterback Stetson Bennett threw 4 TD passes, ran for 2 scores as the #1 Bulldogs overwhelmed #3 TCU 65-7. The 58-point margin of the victory is the largest ever in a bowl game, and the 65 points scored is the most in a BCS CFP title game. The win had our own David Pollack making big claims in front of the great Nick Saban. Stephen A. didn't like this.
Georgia, obviously, you've seen in the past couple seasons now, really, they've taken hold of college football. They did an unbelievable job. This is a young football team. This isn't an old football team with a bunch of guys losing. Now, listen, the NFL can take its chunk out of any team.
All right. It was over early last night for the Horned Frogs. The Dogs scored 38 points, matching the most points any team has scored in either half of a BCS CFP championship game. Georgia entered the day having scored 38-plus points in just 6 of its 60 bowl games all time. This is not what Stephen A. envisioned yesterday.
I thought Michigan would romp them, and boy, was I wrong. I'm going with the Cinderella, Paul Feinbaum. I think TCU's gonna shock the world. I'm picking TCU to win the national championship. It would surprise me, Paul Feinbaum, if TCU shocked the world. They shouldn't win. Georgia's the better team, but I just got a feeling, man, that TCU might pull this off.
And then there was that.
So much for that. See, what had happened? What had happened?
I'm not even going to get on you, though, Stephen A., because I was just proud you went with the underdog.
Listen, I wanted to go with the underdog, man. I knew Georgia was the better team, but I wanted to go with the underdog, man. You know, it's like, but once again, my initial gut, I got to stick with it. All season long, when Paul Feinbaum was coming on First Take, and anytime we got into a discussion about TCU or whatever, I'm sitting there like, please, don't give me that. They ain't winning no damn national championship. Stop this nonsense. And then when they got into the postseason, I had a problem with them being in the postseason. I had a problem with them and Ohio State because Ohio State got rocked by Michigan in the Big Ten championship game, and TCU lost to K-State. I thought Alabama should have been up in there. That's 2 losses I didn't care. They were narrow losses, and then when USC went and they lost to Utah twice, including getting bum rushed in their conference championship game, I was like, yo, Alabama all day. Bring them on. And by the way, that would not have happened last night to Alabama. We know this. But in the end, here's the bottom line. I was wrong. I sat up there and TCU. Here's my thing, Keyshawn and Paul. I don't have a problem with a loss. But when you get blitzed, when you get annihilated, when you get, I mean, they ain't gonna show. Those kids might skip the semester, and the school might allow it because of how much they embarrassed themselves last night. That's how bad that beatdown was. I mean, they can't show up on campus today. I mean, it's just bad. It's just that bad. And I will say this. Thank God college football has this 12-team playoff system coming. Because let me tell you something right now. After what we saw last night, don't think for 1 second that wouldn't influence future choices by the committee. Because right now you could make an argument that the committee owe ESPN money for having to air that last night and having people show up to watch that atrocity. I mean, no contest whatsoever.
Okay.
48-0 over the last 3 quarters. Right. It was that bad.
We're going to get to that, but Stephen A., I want to piggyback on that thought with what you just said in terms of the beatdown Georgia handed to TCU. And Key, I'll ask you to pick it up here. Do you think Georgia has replaced Alabama as the top dog in college football?
I don't, not yet, but they are coming. They are on the heels of Nick Saban, no question about it. We keep forgetting Nick Saban did just win a championship several years ago. It's not like he won it 10 years ago, a few years ago. So I wouldn't automatically just replace Alabama and put Georgia in there, but Georgia and Kirby Smart are on the heels of Nick Saban, no question about it. 2 in a row. The last time that happened was in the BCS era in 2011, 2012 with Alabama. If he goes next year and let's say he plays against Alabama and he beats Alabama in the national championship, that'll be 3 in a row. When you look at his resume since coming over from Alabama as defensive coordinator to Georgia as a head coach, unstoppable. Unstoppable. He's been in 3 championship games in the CFB in 5 seasons in 3 championship games. So how can you complain about what he's done and what Georgia's done? But Alabama's still showing you they can go out and get the #1 recruiting class in the country this year. They went out and got the #1 recruiting class. So I'll wait and hold a little bit before I just say Georgia's the cream of the crop in college football.
Well, Keyshawn, you're right. Alabama had an epic recruiting class. So did Jimbo Fisher a year ago. He had the best recruiting class of all time, and he had a losing record. That is not always an indicator. You need #1 recruiting classes, but the most important thing is you have to keep them